Hi, I'm Brad Favreau, and welcome to Believe in Biddeford. Right now, Saco and Biddeford are undergoing unprecedented change, perhaps not seen in decades. The Merck facility has been razed, demolished. The mill buildings on both sides of the river are filling up with businesses and residences and bringing hundreds of people to both Saco and Biddeford to live and work, and that's driving many new businesses on the main streets of both cities. With this level of change, it's important that we keep the public informed, and we do that through a number of channels, both official government communications and marketing and advertising, promoting both cities. Here today with me are three of our experts in communications, advertising, and promotion. I have Jennifer Keneally of Keneally & Company, a local advertising and marketing firm.
Yep.
Emily Roy, she is the marketing and communications specialist in the city of Saco. And Danica Lamontagne is the city of Biddeford's communications coordinator. So Jen, I think I'd like to start with you today because you perhaps have a 30,000-foot view of both cities and what's going on, and you have a strong background in advertising. So tell us, give us an idea of what you do and how you do it. Not specifically for Saco and Biddeford, but just in general what you do, some of the things you do. What's your job?
Absolutely. So I have a background in selling advertising on television, and that transferred into learning how to buy all different forms of media and also the creative behind it, which is video. So it's really telling stories and getting those stories out there. That's why it's so exciting to be part of helping Biddeford and Saco tell their stories, because there's so many fun success stories going on out there that it's just great to have the opportunity to do so.
Emily, you work directly for Kevin Sutherland, the city manager over there. How did you get into communications, marketing, specifically in city administration?
Sure. So I have been with the city of Saco for about 10 years. I started while I was still in college. I went to Clark University in Worcester, Massachusetts. Having grown up in Maine, I left to pursue higher education, ended up coming back after I graduated. I started with Saco in the Planning and Development Department as an intern with the former Economic Development Director, Peter Morelli. And from there, I took a full-time position with our Public Works and Wastewater departments, doing sewer billing and learning more about the organization itself. And then I took a position with administration as the executive assistant for Rick Michaud, who was the former city administrator prior to Kevin's arrival. And then I worked as Kevin's executive assistant for a few years. And he had noticed that I had a natural ability with some graphic design. I was managing our digital newsletter and started transitioning into the role as a webmaster for the city. So at that point, he noticed that there was a need to really focus on communications. So he established a new position with the city marketing communications specialist. And then I applied for that job, and I was selected as the candidate. And I've been fortunate enough to serve in that role for 2 years now.
Nice, nice. Well, it sounds like you have a very well-rounded experience in multi-facets of city government, so that must be very beneficial to you.
It is. It definitely is. I know who to contact if I don't know the answer to a question, and I can navigate the various resources that we have pretty quickly, so it's very helpful. Nice.
Danica, you likewise work for the city manager in Biddeford, Jim Bennett. Is your work similar to what Emily has described?
Yeah, it sounds like there's quite a bit of overlap. I started with the city manager's office this summer as an intern, actually, and I started putting together a communications plan for the city. And then in September of last year, I moved into the communications coordinator position. And in that position, I'm putting together press releases, I'm running our social media accounts, I'm updating our website, and I'm putting together our weekly newsletter as well. So we're doing a lot of the same kind of outreach things. And I do have other things that change from week to week of what I'm working on, whether that's like informational pamphlets or, you know, anything like that. I'm the go-to person for that.
Well, we certainly do have a lot going on in Biddeford. Jennifer, how did you come to work specifically for Biddeford and Saco? I'm guessing you do a lot of work with other municipalities and other companies, other organizations, but how long and how did you come to work for in this community?
Yeah, so in 2011, we had a strategic and marketing company, and then we added the advertising, which I started. And one of it was producing half-hour shows. So we actually produced a half-hour show on Biddeford and Saco, and it featured each of the municipalities as well as local businesses. And that had really good success airing that, and then it just developed from there, telling the stories and helping to get the word out on what's going on in Biddeford and Saco.
Yeah, you're really good at producing videos, and we've done a number of commercials that are airing, and like you mentioned earlier, you're an excellent media buyer. So tell us a little bit about the production end of getting those commercials on the air.
That's the fun part.
They're really instrumental in telling the story to a very broad audience.
Yeah, that's the best part of it, is really capturing what's authentic about Biddeford and Saco, and really getting in to meet the different owners and hearing those stories and sharing those stories, and then really pushing it out to the public. So with the media buying, we can do it really affordably, which I think Biddeford and Saco is really on the cutting edge of paying for advertising. And then they saw a need to complement that with having Emily and Danica on board to really round off the communications piece, whether it's updating their social media, their website, getting information out to both their constituents and to tourists and visitors. So it's really a nice program that we have working together.
And you do, I know you do commercials for us. Do you do commercials for Saco as well?
Yeah, we do video work
air,
for both. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. What's your role in that, Emily?
In commercials for economic development specifically? Or for video
or the
production?
city in general?
So we partner with Jen to do various videos. So we've done economic development videos highlighting the different businesses in our downtown, some of our longer term employers, trying to bring attention that they've been with our community for a long time, and we really appreciate having them there and the service that they provide that people may not be aware of. And then we've been focusing more recently on showcasing the services that different departments provide. So on our Facebook page and Instagram and website, you can actually find the first video that we've done, and that was for the city clerk's department. And so Jen, she was our creative director for that and led us through that process and how to communicate that information in just under a minute.
And Danica, you've played a role in the commercials as well.
Yeah, I was.
The last one we did this summer with Jen, I appeared briefly in it at the end, and you did the voiceovers.
I did.
And you did an excellent job.
I also got to be the citizen that was going around and trying out the foods and stuff like that.
Oh, that's always fun.
There's a nice shot of me like eating some chocolate.
Yes. That's excellent. Jen, do you think that Biddeford and Saco are doing everything we can right now to promote ourselves and put our best foot forward, not only to the community, that where we live and work, but beyond into the southern Maine region?
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, I think it's great doing the advertising, because then you can push it out to the people that you want to reach, and you can target and really get that message out there, and you can have a guaranteed audience. But then there's also still the component of the social media piece and updating your website and information that really should be handled by somebody that works for the city. So again, it's great to partner with these two people and economic development professionals so we can tell those stories. I would say probably the one area that I wish we'd see grow is people participating in all of the events or volunteering. There's so many things that you can do to get out in the community, and it'd be really great to kind of have a campaign saying that you're invited. So if you want to be involved in the Winter Festival, or you want to be involved in the concert series, or Age Friendly over in Saco, or the Saco Main Street, whatever your hobbies are, try to get out and participate those and volunteer. I think that would be the next step that we'd really like to push for.
So pull more people in.
Exactly.
To the events that are
Yeah.
happening. Yeah. One subject I'd like to touch on is the role of social media, because that can be an astonishingly beneficial tool, but it also has another side to it. So I wonder if Emily and Danica, you could talk about some of the successes and maybe some of the challenges you've had using social media to put the city's messages, the respective cities' messages out.
Sure. Yeah. You want to go first?
I can. Well, for some background, the city just started on Facebook back in September when I moved into this position. And we actually started out with the Vote Your Main Street campaign, which was the big grant voting contest that got us the $150,000 grant to start repairing the clock tower. So that was a really successful thing that we were able to use social media to leverage. And I don't know if we would have been as successful at getting the votes to get that grant if we hadn't been reaching people through that channel. So that was one of the good things about social media. And there's always, social media is challenging because people have certain expectations of what they want to see you post. And sometimes, like, when I haven't posted a certain thing, people have been like, why has that been left off? And social media is not a replacement for our website or any of our other forms of communication. So, but still trying to balance getting the information that people are looking for on there in a form that's easy for them to consume when they're just sort of scrolling down on their phone.
Right.
That can be a challenge.
Right. Emily?
So we have been very successful with our social media pages. We have a Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram account for city government, as well as a few of the other departments like Parks and Recreation, the police department. They have independent pages as well. We've been successful. We try to cross-promote information with them, and so if there's something that the people who are following the police department's page may be of interest to them, I'll reach out to the police department, ask them to share it in order to reach as many people as possible. So our Instagram, I think, is the most exciting new thing. It was newer to me using that platform. And we launched it this summer, and we already have over 1,000 followers. And so it's exciting to use that platform to find a more creative way to showcase our community just through pictures. And thankfully, this area is so beautiful, it makes my job really easy to be able to do that.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
And then I use analytics a lot, so I look at the insights on all of our social media to track our conversions to our website, to see how different things are performing. And then I adjust our content based on the feedback from those posts and change how I post information in order to reach as many people as possible.
Wow. It's amazing how quickly we can react these days. Yeah.
I think that's a challenge. People do send messages 24 hours a day. And I do my best to respond to them, but I'm the only person answering those. And so sometimes I don't know the answer and it takes me a little while to find it. But I try to respond as quickly as I can, or at least make contact letting them know that I'm working on it.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's something that we're still starting to work on too, is with the page being so new, trying to figure out, like, do we want to have private messages open and have people be able to contact us 24 hours a day, or do we want to direct people more to our website or to calling the city to get answers to their questions? And we're still kind of working out how we want the page to run. And, I'm following the analytics as well and seeing what people do like and what they aren't as interested in seeing. But with it still being just a couple months old, there's been a learning curve for sure.
Well, that raises a good question. What are citizens most interested in seeing, and what are they not interested in seeing as far as your analytics?
So far, what I've found is people have responded the most to posts that have been about positive things that are going on in Biddeford. I recently posted an article where someone had just gone around to a lot of the local businesses in the downtown and was talking about all the cool things that are down there. And that was one of our most popular posts that we've ever had as far as likes and shares. And in comparison to some of the more like regular city government things, it's actually getting a lot more interest. So that's been hard for me to grapple because we are the city government. So of course we're going to need to post about public meetings and stuff like that.
Right.
But the things that people get excited about are not always the things that are related to actually like government.
Yeah.
I think following up on that, like I get really excited about government, but I forget that not everybody does.
Right.
So in order to compromise, you know, that, I try to pair a very nice picture of the community with something informational, and like they have to learn something as they look at that picture.
Right.
So that's my strategy of like, okay, you can have this picture of a puppy, but with it, you have to learn about our dog-friendly beaches or our dog licensing you know, you have to register your dog by the end of this month in order to avoid a $25 late fee, things like that.
I've definitely noticed when you put in a graphic or a picture, when you're talking about like two very similar things, the one with the picture is always going to get the most reaction.
Now, I know the city of Biddeford has multiple Twitter accounts. Are you responsible for maintaining those and posting?
I run the account that's at BidME City. That's the like official city account for the central source of information. All of the departments do also have their own Twitter accounts. I'm not sure how many people are still updating them regularly. We try to put as much information on the main Twitter account as possible, and that's the one that most of the public seems to be following. I know the police department does run their own Twitter account, and recreation, they're actively posting. And then Jim as well runs his own Twitter account as the city manager. So.
Well, maybe a friendly reminder from you to the department heads might be useful in getting everybody to make better use of Twitter.
Yeah, I think it's easier for citizens if they can just come to the one account and get all the information from the same place, except for maybe some of those, like the police department has a whole different audience than some of the other departments, so I think it makes sense for them to continue running their accounts, but for most people are coming through me and saying, hey, can you share this so that everyone can see it?
Yeah. So social media is a huge part of what you guys do, you, Emily, and Danica. Jen, what are some other effective ways that you use? I mean, you're really strong in video production and just still image production. Your employee, is it Ethan?
I think for marketing right now, video is still the kind of the highest priority because you can use it on so many platforms. So you can use it on your website, social media, television. So there's so many ways to get the message out, whether it's a short 30-second commercial all the way up to a 3 to 4 minute video really showcasing something. It's just become more and more popular with YouTube and so forth, so in streaming. So there's so many ways to see video these days. So that's probably number one, and then the backup number two is the photography. A picture tells 1,000 words, and we're so fortunate in Biddeford and Saco to have all of these things to showcase. So those are my two favorites.
Yes. One thing I wanted to mention to Danica a minute ago, we were fortunate enough last week to welcome the producers of Small Business Revolution to our city, and I wonder if you could tell us a little bit about that program and our place in it.
Yeah, so that program is called the Small Business Revolution Main Street, and it is a TV program that runs on Hulu and YouTube. It's run by Deluxe Corporation, and they select one community each year, and they give 6 small businesses in the community a total of $500,000 of business assistance, so that they can either do marketing or physical improvements to their business or whatever they're really in need of to get a little bit of a boost. And Biddeford was selected as one of the top 20 communities back in November, I believe. And then we found out that we moved to the top 10 in December based on the social media activity from people in our town being excited about this opportunity and posting about some of the exciting small businesses that we have in Biddeford. So they just came on Monday to actually visit our community. They were going in and out of some of the small businesses throughout the city. And they are going to pick a top 5 set of communities next month. And from there, the 5 communities that remain will be in a voting competition for 1 week. And the community that gets the most votes is going to be featured on the show. So right now we have a 50% chance, I guess you would say, of moving on to the next round.
Right.
And if we do, we're going to have a big social media push again to get people voting. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the reception that we had Monday night for the producers of the show was a great success, thanks in part to you getting the word out. And let's hope for moving up to the top 5.
Yeah. It was really exciting to see everyone come out and just be excited about Biddeford and everything that's going on here. Even that, I think, obviously I would like to move on to the top 5, but I think even that was a success in itself.
Yeah, yeah. Well, that's one thing that Biddeford is doing. What can we do to promote both cities as one community? Because our downtowns are virtually one downtown. You could really look at it as one single unit, but what could we do to strengthen the promotion of ourselves as 2 cities, 1 community? Jen, I'll start with you.
I think we've already started with showcasing some of the things that they do together. You have, the river walk that's together. We have the Eastern Trail. We have beautiful beaches. Each city has their own little attributes, but together for the region, there's really so much to do. And I think we're at a point now where we can really push it outside of Maine and really let people know, because there's so much to do here and see here year round, that it'd be great to get more tourists and visitors here visiting this region. It's really time.
Yeah, it is. Do you have any ideas, Emily?
I think we've been working on that. I know we work together a lot to try to showcase the region, and it helps with makes our population a little bit larger too when we start to combine the areas into one region. But I think a natural place to start is by encouraging collaboration between our 2 downtown organizations, Heart of Biddeford and Saco Main Street.
Oh, good idea.
And more like joint community events, as well as using the resource of the Biddeford Saco Chamber of Commerce, because that's another place where we're already partnering. So I think all of us working together even more to really leverage the resources that we have would be tremendously beneficial.
So all the pieces are in place. We just have to perhaps make better use of them.
That's what I think.
Yeah, yeah. Danica, do you have any ideas?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would agree with what both of them covered. I think even just doing things like this, where we're all sitting down together and reminding people that we're all sort of working for the same team here. I think obviously all of us at this table agree that we are all one greater community, but I don't necessarily think everyone in the public is on the same page about that. So I think, reminding people that this community doesn't stop at the border between the 2 cities, I think is important.
And there's a way to respect the individual identities of the communities, but still collaborate when we can.
Right.
Well, that's a good point, because there is a clear distinction between the character of both cities. But taken as a whole, we have probably 43,000 people between the 2 cities, and that's 2/3 of the Portland population. So we have a good critical mass. I think, like you pointed out, maybe we could tell a better story about the tourism opportunities, because when you think of coastal communities, you don't necessarily think of Biddeford. It's not the top of the list, I don't think.
No.
But we have beautiful beaches, as does Saco. So perhaps we can start along the tourism route, bringing more people in.
And like I said, the communities, if you look at how many businesses have come in, plus our existing businesses, there's tons of fun things to do. There's the Biddeford Museum Tour, there's Saco Scoop downtown, there's restaurants, there's City Theater, you can take the train in, you can do all kinds of things, there's places to stay. So it's really becoming more year-round and really expanding the offerings that I think people maybe haven't been taking a look at and need to take a second look.
Yeah. Yeah, I know the Biddeford Mills Museum is working very hard to finish up the temporary exhibit that's in Pepperell Mill Center right now, and that should be finished up very, very, very shortly. But it's a very interesting history of both cities, actually. So that's another way that we're collaborating. Emily, what would you like the people of Biddeford to know about Saco that perhaps we don't know?
Last year, we went through a strategic marketing plan. So we looked at all the different resources in our community and also some of the resources that are shared between the two communities, and really tried to focus on different assets that we could highlight and showcase. And some of it is to promote more tourism to the area, but also to connect our residents with different opportunities that they may not know exist locally. So I would say the same thing for Biddeford residents, is that in Saco we have incredible trails and parks and beaches, and just like Biddeford does as well. But it's an opportunity, I think, to visit both communities when you're looking to recreate. And they're open year-round. And then other opportunities, we have the shared train station, and we really value both communities being able to access that and use multimodal transportation options. And then with the strategic marketing plan, we also unveiled our new logo and tagline, and our tagline is "Friendly by Nature." And we really cherish that as a community and encourage visitors and welcome everyone to come be a part of the incredible things happening in Saco too. So we also have phenomenal businesses downtown. We have some boutique shops. We have different restaurants and breweries. So I think Biddeford residents can expand their horizons and just cross over the bridge and come see what we have to offer too.
You know, you brought to mind, until recently, I didn't know that the coffee shop Sia had opened. I mean, yes. you introduced me to it a couple months ago, but I had no earthly idea it was there. What are some other businesses that have opened recently that, you know, Biddeford residents might be interested in?
Okay. So there's Sia Cafe, which is on Beach Street in Saco, and they expanded. Their original location was in Knightville in South Portland. And Sia is really neat. They have a lot of, they feature different artists, and you can buy their artwork right off the wall. And they have great sandwiches and coffee and some ice cream as well. Then downtown, one of the newer businesses that opened would be the Saco Scoop, which is operated by Saco Main Street. And so that's a fundraiser for their organization to be able to provide the fantastic events that we have year-round. And so you can go there and have ice cream. This past weekend, we just had one of our police officers read books to children there. So he chose some of his favorite children's books, and his name's Officer Gray. He came and he got to interact with some of the children in the community. So it's a nice community gathering space as well. Then we have Kiro Cafe. They're closed right now for renovations. They're located in Pepperell Square, but they're changing their business, and they're actually expanding to another location in Portland as well.
But staying in Saco.
They are staying in Saco,
good,
yes.
Good.
And
excellent
then we have,
food there.
Yeah, we have great businesses who have been with us for a while too. You've got New Moon in Pepperell Square as well. You've got Vic and Wits. I enjoy going there. They're open later on Monday nights when the council meetings are, so I like to go there and get a sandwich before a council meeting.
Perfect.
And then we've got Traditions right on Main Street. And
which is the Italian restaurant.
It is, yes, it is an Italian restaurant, and they have phenomenal food as well. And then we have Run of the Mill. That's one of the more popular places to go to grab a drink
popular.
to. And they have some nightlife. And then we have Up and Up in Saco, which is above Vic and Wits, and they sell cocktails. And Lady in the Mensch is one of the newer businesses as well, and they have cocktails and small plates.
Yeah.
And I haven't covered all of the great businesses, but that's just a little snapshot.
No, that's a nice highlight.
As well as Krispy Kreme opened in Saco.
Who doesn't like donuts?
Recently. That's right. So that's Outer Route 1.
Right.
Right. So
yeah. Danico, Main Street in Biddeford. I know Yetto's opened up about a year ago, and we have really some top-notch restaurants on Main Street. I wonder if you could tell us about a few of those.
Yeah, so Elda is one of the newer restaurants on
Elda,
Main Street,
yes.
and they have gotten quite a bit of national recognition recently. They had a review in the New York Times, which was really exciting, and they've made...
A very positive review.
Yeah, and they've made quite a few like top lists of new restaurants around the country. Some of them, I think it was like the only one from New England even on some of the lists that I've seen, which is really exciting to have that right in Biddeford. And the Palace Diner as well has been around for quite a long time, and they've sort of been recognized for the community staple that they are in some of these national publications as well. So it's been, last year there were quite a few times where you just open an article and something from Biddeford was on a national list. It's pretty exciting.
It is very exciting. It's very exciting to get that kind of national exposure. And the good news is what's good for Biddeford is good for Saco, and vice versa. What's good for Saco is good for Biddeford, because we are one community. Jennifer, is there anything else you'd like to tell us about what you do, how you do it, and basically what we could perhaps do better as we move forward in promoting the two cities?
I think Biddeford and Saco have been great at getting their information out, and like I said, with the advertising and keeping the commercials coming so you can try new things and make people aware is great. But also the community piece where Emily and Danica are really trying to get people involved. There's so many ways for them to get the information out to the public. So I just really want the public to, you know, whichever medium they want to find, whether it's on the website or signing up for an e-newsletter or Facebook, the information's out there. Take advantage of it.
Any final words, Emily?
Sure. So in Saco, if you go to sacomain.org, you can visit our website to get a lot of different information. We also have several digital newsletters and email lists. So if you go to sacomain.org/stay-connected.php, that brings you to that sign-up sheet. And our social media pages are at Saco Main, and we update that very frequently with, I think, really important information to stay involved and informed about what's happening in the community. We're in the process of redesigning our website, so you'll see some changes in mid-February, some improved navigation, ADA compliance, and easier search functions. So I'm really excited to unroll that, and so go ahead in mid-February, come visit our website and see all the great changes.
Nice, nice. Danica, any final words?
Yeah, so similarly to that, you can find us at biddefordmain.org. We updated our website in June, I believe, so it's been a while since you've been to the website. Much easier to navigate now, a lot more information up on there.
Yes.
Our Twitter is at BidMeCity, as I mentioned before, and then our Facebook page is City Government Biddeford, Maine, so connect with us on there. And then on our website, you can subscribe to our online newsletter, the Biddeford Beat, and get some other notifications that we send out through there. So I think that pretty much covers it.
Well, good, good. Jennifer, Emily, Danica, thanks so much for stopping by and chatting today. I'm Brad Favreau, and we'll have another edition of Believe in Biddeford very soon. Thank you.